You are listening to Destination Monterey, Book 2 in the Destination Murder Mysteries series, written by Anne Shepphird, narrated by Lauren Davis, published by Four Horsemen Publishing Incorporated. Copyright Anne Shepphird and 2022. All rights reserved. Dedication/acknowledgements. For my mom, Jane Woodson. Thank you to all who helped bring this book to life, especially Amy Acciona, Jill Bastian, Erica Lance, Kathleen Matchelat, Jen Paquette, John Reynolds, Jordan Weiner, Valerie Willis, and Jeff Wolfe. Chapter 1. I balked. I'll admit it. Totally balked. I didn't think it was a good idea. I mean, here I was, fresh off my first press trip as a travel writer, to a luxury resort on Maui, no less. And instead of flying off to a new exotic locale, I was being asked to write a story about Monterey County. I mean, sure, the area surrounding my hometown of Carmel-by-the-Sea, California, has incredible scenery and attractions, not to mention a variety of world-class hotels, from Big Sur to Pebble Beach, that other people would kill to write about. Ha, not literally. I still had two pretty substantial reasons why covering it didn't sit well with me. The first was that after a taste of the thrill that comes with getting on a plane and heading thousands of miles away to a new adventure, it felt a little pedestrian to be knocking around the place where I grew up. The second, and if I'm being honest, more compelling reason, was that I had only recently left my old life as an investigative reporter in Los Angeles and returned to Carmel to help take care of my ailing father, taking a part-time job as the travel columnist for Carmel Today magazine in the process. While so far it wasn't too bad being back, and I enjoyed my new job, let's just say I had my reasons for staying away from Carmel-by-the-Sea, cute little hamlet that it is, for the dozen or so years after I left for college. So yeah, I'll admit I balked a little when I was first given the assignment. I will say, though, that once all was said and done, I not only gained a new appreciation for the area as one of the most special places on Earth, I also managed to save a life and solve a mysterious disappearance along the way. Of course, that's all well and good in retrospect. It just didn't feel that way at first. Part of it was the way it was presented to me by my editor-in-chief at Carmel Today magazine, Mona Reynolds. Not every assignment is to a luxury resort in a tropical paradise, Sam, Mona said in a rather sarcastic tone that I'm going to admit did not sit well with me. Not at all. It didn't help that the rest of the staff sitting in the magazine's conference room started chuckling. Even her damn dog Cornwall, a tiny Yorkie poo she'd adopted as part of Carmel's unwritten edict that everyone have a pooch at their side, seemed to smirk. At two, Cornwall. At two. Mona was not only the editor-in-chief at Carmel Today magazine, but she was also the longtime family friend who had offered me the travel writer gig when I returned to town. Now in her early 60s, Mona was tall and lean and always impeccably dressed. In short, Mona still looked like she stepped right out of the pages of Vogue magazine, where she had been a long-time features editor. Like me, Mona had grown up in Carmel and had only returned to town herself the previous year when she was offered the editor-in-chief position. The chuckles and smirks from my colleagues really weren't warranted, in my opinion. I mean, all I had done was mention that focusing our monthly Splendid Adventures column, the longer travel feature I was responsible for each month, on our backyard, as it were, wasn't the most exciting thing in the world. Especially coming on the heels of what ended up being a scintillating, if I do say so myself, piece on the luxurious Mokahana Resort and Spa on the Hawaiian island of Maui. Okay, so that had been my first real travel feature and my first press trip. It had also included the drama, if you want to call it that, of the murder of one of my fellow travel writers, and a burgeoning romance with the detective on the case, Roger Kai, with whom I may or may not have exchanged more than a few texts, phone calls, and video chats since my return. I may. As I fiddled with the braided leather bracelet he gave me before I left Maui, I thought about our last lingering hug and kiss, and the way his hand brushed mine just before we said goodbye. As you can see, the bar was set pretty high for my next Splendid Adventures story. My argument was that the smaller out-and-about pieces I wrote for the front news
Sample complete. Ready to continue?